We want to keep you that way. In fact, that's our mission. To not only provide the most skilled doctors and nurses to heal you from sickness or injury, and comprehensive care to support your recovery, but also to be your guide to health. Also, you can keep on inspiring, keep on reaching, and keep on amazing. For the care that keeps you amazing, visit Baptist-Health.com.
Looking for a new home course this golf season? Eagle Crest Golf Course has memberships as low as $83 a month for Zoysia fairways and bent grass greens. Is your whole golf group ready to join Eagle Crest? 4 new members can join for just $1,150 each for the entire year. Individual annual memberships are just $1,250 a year. Call Eagle Crest Golf Course right now for all the details. 632-8857. That's 632-8857. Eagle Crest Golf Course, Highway 64, just east of Alma. 0% financing and huge spring savings on new Buicks at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 2019 Buick Encore, only $18,999 or just $299 a month. That's a 2019 for under $19,000. Or get 0% financing for 72 months on most Buick models, including the Cascada, Encore, Regal, LaCrosse, and Envision. Spring into savings at the #1 Buick dealer in the country, Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Hi, this is Roger Holroyd, Arvest Bank President for the Fort Smith region. Please join us in fighting hunger in our community by participating in Arvest's Million Meals. Arkansas and Oklahoma both rank among the top 10 nationally in food insecurity. Make a monetary contribution or donate non-perishable food items at any Arvest location until June 1st. You can also contribute via the Arvest Go mobile app. Contributions stay local and benefit one of our 11 community food partners. Please visit arvest.com/millionmeals. Arvest makes no representation that any contribution is tax deductible. Please consult your tax advisor.
At Mosquito Joe, we often hear customers say, aren't we just fighting a losing battle? We live in the woods, or we live by a pond, or we live on the river. Mosquito Joe won't be able to help me. Well, with Mosquito Joe, outside it truly is fun again. Mosquito Joe's seen properties of all shapes and sizes.
Hey, Phil, can you hear us, Phil?
I hear you, but I also hear a buzz, and I hear an echo of me.
Okay.
Weather.
Plenty of sunshine with us today. Our high temperatures this afternoon, low 70s north, upper 70s south. Partly cloudy sky tonight. Overnight lows in the low to mid 50s. And then we're expecting partial sunshine, maybe a stray shower or thunderstorm north on Tuesday. High temperatures close to 80. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Hertz Car Sales, 2810 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith. You can call them today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com.
PNF, KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
2 seconds, 1 second, he lets fly with a shot.
From the Bush and Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry. You know, anything travels that far, I'd have a damn stewardess on it, don't you think?
With Phil Elson.
You do a fantastic job on the radio. There's no one else in this league I'd rather listen to, so keep up the good work.
And Tye Richardson.
Tye, I love the way you talk, buddy.
Raise that bright red flag to the skies. 423 miles away, the Emerald City awaits. The Hogs are going to Omaha.
But hold on, it's almost halftime.
Well, not a bad weekend. Not at all. Not at all. We heard a little bit of complaining by maybe some local radio folks where I live about the lack of a sweep for Arkansas baseball. And, I can understand it a little bit because you're really that close. You feel that close to rubbing your hated opponent's face in a pile of doo-doo with 3 straight victories. You're 5 outs away from pulling it off, and because of just one bad pitch, one good swing, and the nature of the game of baseball, you're left with trying to be happy, which I think you can be happy with wins in 2 out of 3 against LSU as Arkansas baseball wins yet another series. We were able to talk about Thursday's shellacking of LSU because we had a Friday show, but we didn't get a chance to get into another shellacking of LSU by Arkansas on Friday. And it was an interesting-looking series because the first two games, it looked like Arkansas's lineup just could not be stopped at all. I mean, it put together 25 runs on 27 base hits, had the 5 home runs in Game 1 on Thursday, wore down the LSU pitching staff for most of the first few innings on Friday, and then the results of wearing them down with really good at-bats pay dividends later on as Arkansas scores 6 runs in the 8th inning to run away with an 11-6 win. And then there were some of those opportunities on Saturday to kind of explode on LSU a couple of times and get one of those proverbial crooked numbers up there. But too many opportunities go astray by Arkansas's lineup, and so as you left 7 runners on base in the first 7 innings and did not capitalize on any bases-loaded opportunities, you had a couple of those opportunities and could not capitalize upon them. The 2-0 lead was not enough. But still, you're left with wins in 2 out of 3, but you still lose ground in the standings to Mississippi State. You got no help whatsoever from the Ole Miss Rebels, as now it becomes a 2-team race in the Western Division. Mississippi State finished a sweep of Ole Miss on Mother's Day. Arkansas and LSU were the only 2 teams in the SEC that were off on Mother's Day, so the Hogs could sit back and relax and rest, maybe scoreboard watch a little bit, and see that Ole Miss just could not put really anything together as Mississippi State wins 11-5. So now you're down to a 2-team race in the Western Division, and we'll recap more of the LSU series in a little bit. But really, I mean, this is a team that's been looking forward for a long time now, looking forward to this series with Texas A&M, hoping to be able to close out a division win. But what have you already achieved? Well, Arkansas right now has achieved, at the very worst, a bye in Hoover, which is so important because now you don't have to play in that single elimination game on Tuesday where you're really throwing, one of the guys in the back of your bullpen more than anything else. And you do get into the double elimination portion of Hoover, and you now have a chance to look at wins in 2 out of 3 against Texas A&M, clinching at the very worst a co-division championship. And that's what Arkansas has been doing all season long. This was something, I forget if it was you or if it was somebody else, Tye, that had asked me, what do you hope to see? What do you expect to see at home? I mean, so what do you hope for? You hope you win all 6 games that you close the season with. Who wants to say we're going to go in and just end up, losing a game here or there? I mean, I thought going into the last 6 games that Arkansas would be a 4-2 team because this is a team that has not mastered the art, but they've come pretty close to mastering the art of winning series, which is what it really is all about in the SEC, and that's what it's about once you get into a tournament. It's about winning series or regionals, which essentially just becomes, if you can find a way to pick up 3 wins in 3 games, great. But as of right now, it's a team that's winning series. This is amazing because Arkansas now, with the victory on Friday, Tye, they've already surpassed last year's team in terms of conference wins. 18 victories in the SEC last year by the Razorbacks. This year, 19. And it was so interesting last year to see Arkansas go 18-12 in the SEC, but split their series right down the middle. They won 5 series, all of those at home, 4 of those with sweeps. They lost 5 series on the road. In 4 of those series, they won a game and got swept in the other one. So now this is a team that has won 7 of 9 SEC series. You know how difficult that is to do? To have winning weekends 7 times in 9 weekends in the SEC. You've gone on the road. You've picked up a couple of SEC road series, 3 SEC road series wins already now. It continues to be a team, to me, that impresses in a lot of ways. And I'm past the Saturday loss. I'm past it. I don't know if you are, Tye, because you really would have felt there's so much. There is a different feeling when you walk away with 3 wins instead of 2, especially when it's LSU, and especially difficult to look at that perspective when you're 5 outs away from a sweep. But still, in all, and you made a good point, sending me a text after the game was over on Saturday, because I think you were trying to mirror, I think, what a lot of fans would be thinking. Stunk that you lost that game because you were that close. Kind of a gut-wrenching loss. But still a really productive weekend for Arkansas baseball. Finally getting that rally possum off of our backs. The exorcism worked on Monday. And now you're in a position where 2 victories against Texas A&M is going to get you, at the very worst, a co-division championship, which is a great achievement. And you would also have, one more win in this weekend. It's just the second season ever that Arkansas has won 20 conference games. I can't imagine going into that last weekend ever thinking that, oh gosh, we lost the game on Saturday, boo-hoo.
And I know Bubba brought up the Rally Possum on Thursday broadcast, and then as well as Friday's broadcast, which I got to attend firsthand, and we'll get into a little more of that in 3 Up, 3 Down. But it was just a fantastic job by the U of A marketing department, or the SIDs, or whoever came up with the fake dead rally possum at the end of Game 2. And we mentioned that series, you called it just a marsupial. It wasn't a monkey on the Razorbacks' back. It was just a giant pain in Dave Van Horn and the Arkansas baseball team's butt. And I thought, I think it was either Bubba or it was another, maybe it was Scott Tabor on the Morning Rush, that he said they knew who was in the uniform in the other dugout. They knew how important it was, despite them treating it like another SEC series. They knew the significance of beating LSU this year and eclipsing and finally getting over the Tigers, something you had done in 2011, something Dave's only done now 3 times here at the U of A. It was a monster win. Yes, you would have loved to get that sweep, and yes, you were close when you leave 10 guys on base. That kind of, you just look at that and say, man, we should have had those guys, especially giving up 1 3-run bomb that basically loses the game. But at the end of the day, you won the series, you beat LSU, and now you got a great chance. I know, again, you mentioned it, Ole Miss didn't give you any help this weekend, losing 3 to Mississippi State, but you still got a good chance to go down to College Station, win 2, maybe 1, we'll see what happens, and then possibly win the SEC West. And even if you do, Phil, the first question I have for you is, how much will the NCAA selection committee, when comparing Mississippi State and Arkansas, look at that 3-game sweep that the Razorbacks were able to beat the Bulldogs earlier this year?
Well, what I think that would lead to would be Arkansas being seeded higher than Mississippi State. But I also think that the Bulldogs have done just about everything they need to do to make a case to be a top 8 national seed. And I would imagine that if they end up with 2 victories this weekend against South Carolina, and hey, Carolina's having trouble picking up 1 victory per weekend, that the Bulldogs have also made their case to be a national seed, because if they win 2 games, they've won 20. And I just would have a really difficult idea. Look, there are 4 teams right now that could potentially win 20 games in the SEC. Vanderbilt's already done it. Georgia has won 18 games. They host Alabama this weekend. Alabama's no great shakes. In fact, they're no good. They're not very good at all. Mississippi State plays a last-place team in South Carolina, and Arkansas's got the toughest of those other 2 teams that are trying to get that 20th win, because you're playing a good Texas A&M team in their ballpark. My whole point is, you win 20 games in the Southeastern Conference, you're a national seed. You cannot convince me, no matter what happened outside of the conference, what you did in the non-conference, and all these teams are going to end up winning 40 games. Arkansas's won 39, Mississippi State's won 42, Vandy's got 41, Georgia's won 39. If you're an SEC team, you win 40 games in the regular season, 20 of them in your conference, you're a top 8 national seed. I think the resume at that point speaks for itself. It's just, at this point, if Mississippi State were to finish ahead of Arkansas in the standings, maybe they do end up getting a better seed than Arkansas. Maybe at that point the sweep at the hands of the Razorbacks might not matter quite as much. But I think if they finish with the same conference record, I think the sweep probably plays into the hands that Arkansas gets a better seed.
And this goes back into what we talked about last week, where Nolan Richardson, he wasn't as concerned with this half-court offense because he was so convinced that if they ran their style, their 40 minutes of hell to perfection, how he coached his guys over the years, that they wouldn't need that as much. And to kind of tie that into this Arkansas series heading into Texas A&M this weekend, you shouldn't be concerned if you win 1, yes, you might get a national seed. You win 2, you definitely get a national seed. Dave Van Horn, and he's going to preach this, and his coaching staff's going to have the exact same mindset that, hey, just go out and win. Play like we have been, and the committee will be fine. We'll get a national seed. That should be the entire mindset heading into this week, because then when you start kind of dissecting what you have to do to get a national seed to say, hey, we could possibly lose 1, maybe 2 games and still get it, that's when you start getting tricky and it becomes like confusing the players and whatnot. Just go out. It's easier said than done. We always talk about this, especially in the SEC on the diamond. It's not exactly easy to win baseball games, but do what you can this week. Try and get 2 out of 3 in College Station, and you're going to get a national seed. The question, so it's Arkansas, Georgia, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State vying for national seats, and then you got what? UCLA, Oregon State, East Carolina. Is it Stanford? Is that the other Pac-12 team?
Stanford, I think Louisville, Georgia Tech, all making cases to be a top 8 national seed.
So that's 10 teams we just listed.
Right.
Is there anyone outside of that we haven't maybe mentioned?
I mean, maybe Texas Tech. Maybe Texas Tech as far as the Big 12 is concerned. Perhaps Baylor. But I think Texas Tech probably the best opportunity of any of those Big 12 teams. But pretty much you run the gamut of the teams that are vying for a national seed. And as of now, I mean, look, I think UCLA's got one sewed up. I think Vanderbilt does too. Stanford potentially, they've got a big series this weekend against Oregon State, and there is no Pac-12 tournament, so. They just end up playing an extra weekend of regular season baseball, and Stanford closes out against a good Arizona State team, so anything can happen, but they probably look like they've got it sewed up. I think Arkansas's got a top 8 sewed up. I think Mississippi State does too. I really don't think there are many of the top 8 seeds that are up for grabs right now.
And I think with the NCAA, and I don't know how comparatively you can say this with the basketball and baseball selection committees, but in basketball this year you had 3 ACC teams being picked as number 1 seeds, North Carolina, Virginia, and Duke. And not really many people had a problem with that because that was the clear best conference in college basketball this year, and those teams were deserved at number 1 seeds. And so let's say that you had the 4 that you listed from the SEC getting number 1 seeds and then possibly those 3 Pac-12 schools getting number 1 seeds in that. I don't think too many college basketball insiders and fans would be just gasping for the selection committee doing that because those are the 2 powerhouse baseball conferences in college baseball. So you kind of have to reward those teams for playing in these competitive series week in or week out. I don't. Again, you got a lot more info and knowledge on this than I do. That just kind of seems simpler than it has to be when it comes to making these decisions come in 2 weeks.
Now, so, some other thoughts on the idea of what it takes to be a national seed. Last year's Arkansas team got a national seed with 18 conference wins, but they also ended up with regular season victories over ranked teams from the Big 12 in Texas Tech and Texas, and I think that also helped out. They beat Texas 1 out of 2 games this year, but the Longhorns, they're not going to be a tournament team. That's not the same Longhorns club. They're not a ranked team any longer. That's not. They proved to be a little more bark than the bite. Arkansas doesn't have any of those out-of-conference wins that stand out necessarily. So, while I think they've got it sewed up, I think if you win 20 conference games, you're in. So, 1 victory this weekend against Texas A&M ought to be enough to do it. Now, other thoughts from the weekend to stand out about it. What do you have to do? Win games in College Station, win 2 games. It's not even a conversation anymore. Win 2 games, which is what you've been doing lately, and you've beaten Texas A&M for the last 5 years in series. So hopefully continue just a little bit more of the same. So how do you end up doing that? Well, I mean, you're going to get a great performance from Isaiah Campbell on Thursday. That's to be expected now every single time out. He'll be locked up against left-hander John Duxaxis of A&M, who is as good of an ace that you'll find in the SEC. Game 2, well, Texas A&M is now going to be a step behind because they are without their Game 2 starting pitcher. That's left-hander Asa Lacy, who is really, really good. I mean, he's got the lowest batting average against for a Texas A&M pitcher. I think it's in the 170s. He's been outstanding all season long, but he was ejected for arguing balls and strikes this last Saturday against Alabama by plate umpire Ryan Broussard. So when you're ejected from a game and you're a pitcher, you get an automatic 4-game suspension, where a position player gets a 1-game suspension, pitchers get a 4-game suspension.
How is that fair?
Well, because the pitchers they're not playing every game like a position player is. So Sunday's game against Alabama was the first game that Lacy misses. There's no midweek game for Texas A&M, so their last 3 games are against Arkansas, and they can't pitch really a guy who's been one of their best pitchers all season long. So that you're already a step ahead of them just because of that. Doesn't mean you win, but that's one opportunity that Texas A&M had just because of their pitcher alone that they won't have.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That Tommy and John discussed it on the Morning Rush, and I didn't have any answers, and they didn't really. I don't think either, but
it's the same in the major league.
Like that.
Major League Baseball suspensions are done the same way. Pitchers usually get 5 days or 6 games, and position players end up getting fewer games. It's so that you end up, a pitcher's going to sit for a couple games, even if he pitches in relief. So it affects them differently than it will affect a position player. All right, so Kevin Kopps was incredible on Friday. I think that his performance and Connor Nolan's performance on Saturday really stand out amongst the rest of the crew. Kopps was incredible, and he was the reason that Arkansas even had a chance to hang around in Friday's game and come from behind from down 3-0 because it was about to be about 5 or 6-0 when LSU loaded the bases in the 4th inning on Patrick Wicklander, who didn't have great command on Friday, and Kopps comes out of the pen, falls behind 2-0 against their number 9 batter. That's their catcher who had homered 2 innings before, and then he gets a double play out of that, and they get nothing. They get nothing in the 4th inning. Arkansas starts to come from behind in the 5th, and then by the time you were in the 7th and 8th inning, it was game, set, match. LSU kind of had their pitchers worn down, and Arkansas scored, what was that? That's 9 runs in the last 3 innings. So then Connor Nolan on Saturday was really, really good. It looked like all 5 of his pitches working really well, threw a ton of strikes, kept batters off balance, for the most part worked ahead in the count, and looked everything that you want from a guy that, although he went 5 1/3 innings, probably could have gone a little bit longer than that. But they've had a really fresh bullpen and had Cody Scroggins come out. Scroggins pitched 2 pretty good innings, but then allows a single and a walk in the 8th. You go to Kostichak, and they were in the perfect position. They were exactly in the perfect position. Kostichak, who hadn't worked all that hard the day before, only faced 2 batters, coming on to face left-handers. And Kosti, who is, tall, long, lean right-hander.
Great hair.
With good hair, better name, and better stuff. It was coming out throwing 95 to 96 miles an hour with a wipeout slider, but he's really, really good against left-handed batters, especially coming up and in with a fastball. And that's the pitch that he tried to throw to Antoine Duplantis. The high and tight fastball had a little too much of the plate, and Duplantis deposits it over the right field fence. And so you had exactly the position you were hoping for, and you had the right guy against the right batter at the right time. But that's baseball sometimes. It is. And that's not to say the next time the Kostichak gets a chance to face a good left-handed hitter with the game on the line that he's not going to end up getting him, because lefties were hitting, I think it was 3 for 37 against him before that home run by Duplantis. So he's been great against lefties, and I think given the same opportunity, they would go to Kostichak again.
And speaking of, real quick tidbit, speaking of left-handed guys, Asa, the guy you mentioned, Asa Lacy, is a left-handed guy. And we talked about a little bit how Arkansas has not struggled, but has not performed to the same degree against right-handed pitching as they have left. They've been a lot better just facing righties. That's also going to help them out this weekend.
So as of right now, Arkansas has the 2 seed in Hoover and will be a top 4 seed no matter what. The only question is, who do they play and what time next Wednesday do they play, and do we have a show? Tye, that would be the other question, because Hoover's really crazy because baseball takes longer than basketball, right? So you might have 4 basketball games over the course of an afternoon in a tournament. For a baseball game, it starts at 9:30 in the morning and it goes till about 11 o'clock at night. So you got a 9:30 game next Wednesday between the 3 seed and whoever comes out from the day before. The 2 seed plays at 1 o'clock. Which means our show would be cut in half, probably a little less than that if Arkansas is the 2 seed, and it really does look good for them to be the 2 seed as of now. The 1 seed plays at 4:30, and the 4 seed plays at 8 o'clock. And the way the time slots work, usually you don't have to come out of your time slot again, so you don't have to play a 9:30 p.m. game and then play at 10 o'clock in the morning the next day.
So with Arkansas, if they're a half game up on State, right?
They are 1 game up on Mississippi State.
They're 1 game up on Mississippi State. So all they'd have to do is win 2 games. And even if Mississippi State were to sweep, they would have the tiebreaker based on the 3 wins, and they'd get the 2 seed.
Right. They would have the tiebreaker. And the tiebreaker is all that decides is the seed. It doesn't decide a division champion.
Yeah. Okay.
And this plays both ways. I mean, for fans that say, well, hold on a second, Arkansas swept Mississippi State. Why don't they get the conference the division championship outright? Well, it's because there are 9 other weekends, and all this can do. I mean, if you have the same record, you're not going to have a play-in game for a division championship. So essentially, it's like last year, Arkansas loses 2 out of 3 to Ole Miss. They finish in a tie for the West Division championship, and it's right there on the outfield fence at Baum-Walker Stadium under the listings for division titles. It says 2018. They were co-division champions. They just had a lower seed in the tournament. That's what would happen if Arkansas and Mississippi State finish in a tie. So really, what you're looking for are 2 wins. 2 wins gets you at least a share of the division championship, guaranteed the 2 seed as well. That's what you're looking for this weekend.
And I think John pointed this out this morning. Arkansas, technically, by technicality, still has a chance to be the SEC regular season champions. They would have to win all 3 games this week. And I believe, I'm saying this correctly, that Vanderbilt would either have to win just 1 game or lose every game this week.
Well, Vanderbilt essentially would have to forget what they've done all season long. They would have to forget that they're playing baseball.
Yeah.
They'd have to square up against South Carolina in, like a football game or something like that, because South Carolina is not going to Mississippi State. I'm sorry, I was looking at Vanderbilt's playing Kentucky. Pardon me. So Kentucky has the same record as Carolina does. That's the whole idea. Mississippi State and Vanderbilt, the 2 teams that you're trying to battle with for either a league title or a division title, they're playing the dregs of the league. Arkansas's playing a tournament-bound team in Texas A&M, so you do have a tougher opponent. All right, here's what we got coming up on halftime today. We'll continue talking college baseball later on, hour number 2, with Phil Stanton of College Baseball Insider. And Kevin McPherson joins us bottom of this hour for a basketball recruiting talk, since Coach Muss had plenty of basketball players visiting over the weekend, including Connor Vanover, who I think would be a big get for Arkansas, the 7'3" center coming out of Cal Berkeley. Some Razorback news. Hey, looks like you really have a full running back room now, with TJ Hammonds announcing on Twitter that he's coming back. He's going to be a Razorback. Well, it's not that he ever stopped being a Razorback. He just kind of left the team for a few months. All that and more as halftime continues on a Monday on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
When in doubt, expense it. You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
Better would that be Khalid?
That's correct. Yeah.
All right.
That
was one of them I heard. Sunflower.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift song Me.
Yeah.
Sunflower by Post Malone.
There you go.
So y'all can't say anymore that the old man hadn't listened to some Post Malone. Dancing with a Stranger by Sam Smith. This is great stuff that I will never listen to again.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling has a new owner, Andy Herod, and he is ready to make your auto body repairs today. If you live in Barling, Central, Lavaca, or Charleston, Colorworks is your local auto body repair shop. Andy provides superior auto body repair and paint work, in addition to working with your insurance company to make your claim as easy as possible. If you have a collision and need repairs, ask for Andy at Colorworks, 1206 4th Street in Barling across from CV's, or call 434-2639.
Win the battle against weeds with a trip to Metters Lumber True Value. Save now on Roundup Concentrated Weed and Grass Killer. A 36.8-ounce bottle is just $18.99 after a $4 instant rebate for True Value Rewards members. This ready-to-use formula destroys tough weeds and grasses down to the root. It's waterproof in 30 minutes with results in only 12 hours. Don't miss this bargain of the month while supplies last. Metters Lumber True Value. Certain exclusions apply. See store for details.
They worked through any problems that came up and got me driving a very nice car. I found the people at Hertz Car Sales to be very helpful and easy to work with. This is what buying a car should be like.
Why not make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard or give them a call at 783-1722. You can also check them out on the web at buyfromhertz.com. Trade-ins are always welcome. Stop by Hertz Car Sales today. You'll be glad you did.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Sleep apnea isn't just a problem for the older or overweight. It can affect anyone, even children. If you or someone you know is tired all the time, it may be sleep apnea. Without treatment, it can lead to many serious health issues or even a traffic accident. Don't risk your health or that of a loved one. Make an appointment today with Dr. Bo Sparkman at River Valley Sleep Solutions. Treat your apnea without the hassle of a CPAP machine. Go to rivervalleysleep.com. That's rivervalleysleep.com.
Looking to upgrade your fleet or needing professional service to your existing fleet? Carco International of Fort Smith offers the latest trucks and equipment in the industry. With over 70 years in the trucking and equipment business, they have the experience to keep you on the road. Carco International offers professional service after the sale. Carco International Parts Department supplies all makes, parts, and gives expert service. Carco International is the answer. Leave it to the pros to keep you on the road. Carco International, located at 2721 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith.
It's time for the Great American Sales Event at Dunn Ford Country in Stigler, Oklahoma. Get 0% financing on new 2019 Ford F-150 trucks or take up to $10,500 off new 2018 F-150 trucks in stock. How about 0% financing on all 2019 Ford Expeditions or take up to $12,000 off new 2018 Expeditions in stock? Don't forget, in Dunn Country, make us a reasonable offer and it's a done deal, my friend. Dunn Ford Country, 203 West Main Street in Stigler, Oklahoma, or come see us on the web at www.dunfordcountry.com.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Kerstad, a drive to center field. That one is way back, and that ball is out of here. And Heston Kerstad has tied the game over 400 feet to the right of the batter's eye. That was Heston Kerstad's game-tying home run, 6th inning against Zach Hess on Friday. That was quite a shot, his team-leading 14th home run of the season. Had himself a good weekend. Kerstad finished 5 for 11, also picked up 3 walks. Arkansas did hit really well in the series, even though they didn't score enough runs for a victory on Saturday. Look at how they did those first 2 games. Anyway, other Razorback news to get to, and this one involves Brett Bielema, who has now, we mentioned this last week, he had said to a Patriots reporter that he was at that point the defensive line coach for the New England Patriots. Has it even been official yet? Is this anything that is still official? Has there been a statement from the Patriots yet? Because until they say something, I'm not going to believe it, because he's said things before about coaching jobs with the Pats that turned out to be not true.
Yeah, so it was reported by multiple people that he was going to be the defensive coordinator. He was telling people he was going to be the defensive coordinator, and then he told an area of reporters last week that he was the new defensive line coach. And since then, the New England Patriots Twitter account had put this out, Brett Bielema talking about the differences between coaching in college and coaching in the NFL.
The thing I noticed right away was the difference between college level to NFL, just not rapport, but just the interaction, the expected level of play. I remember the first time I went through a drill here a year ago, I got done with the drill and I'm like, wow, these guys are good, And I kind of laughed because I had this moment later on where I'm like, well, yeah, they're NFL players. It's more about, from a coaching perspective, the efficiency with what they practice, the emphasis on fundamentals. So there is a lot of carryover probably to the college game, but there's definitely an atmosphere of, just from the moment you walk in the building in this organization to the time you leave, that's a little bit different. And it's not really just one thing. It's a mode of operation and an expected level of success that stands apart. Spent a lot of time in different rooms, but down to just kind of have that year as a work in progress transition to jump into where we're at now. It's been a lot of fun. And I knew a lot of those guys already. So even if they didn't play for me, there was guys that I recruited, guys that we competed against, so there's a lot of familiarity, and I think that part made it easier.
So, Phil, why this is important is because now his salary is going to exceed, I believe, $150,000, and what that does is it starts the countdown's not the right word, but the subtraction from the buyout. Whatever he's making, the New England Patriots are going to have to forthcome with the documents of what he's making, his salary, to the Razorback Foundation, and they will subtract that from the buyout. So Arkansas will still owe him buyout money, but I think it's $300,000 a month, if I remember that number correctly. But whatever he's making with the Patriots, that will be subtracted from this buyout remaining with the Arkansas.
And then they would
Razorbacks.
still owe him the balance of the buyout contract no matter what?
Correct.
Wow, that's some buyout clause.
Yeah, it's a good one, and it's pretty frequent in collegiate coaching if you have an agent that's worth his salts. But our own Andy Hodges had an interesting take on this whole endeavor.
Andy never has interesting takes on anything or something that nobody thought about, right?
He had a hot take. He said, and you can read this article on hitthatline.com, and I read it this morning, and then I read it this afternoon, or right before our show. He was talking about how he felt like that it's possible that Brett was just kind of biding his time. And in this buyout, in the contract, he is supposed to be actively looking for other coaching jobs. And he suggested, he didn't tell or anything, he just suggested maybe a possible avenue for the Razorbacks is to just not pay him his buyout money and get sued, because the court proceedings would have to take place in Washington County. That's part of the contract, that if something were to happen, that it would have to take place in Washington County, Arkansas. And what do you think a judge is more likely to be in favor of? Just out of, I'm not saying the case would be rigged or anything, but I'm just speculating. What do you think would happen in a court proceeding like that? Well, just out of curiosity.
Is the judge a Razorback fan?
He may or may not be. I don't know many Arkansans who are lifelongers or just have been here a few years that don't have at least a little bit of a tie to the Razorbacks.
Oh, but Justice is blind, right? You've seen Justice, Lady Justice, holding the scales. She's blind. She's completely blind, although she does know how to call the hogs. I've seen Lady Justice call the hogs before.
It's kind of like journalism when people are like, oh, yeah, I'm a journalist. And I'm not making fun of some of the hardcore journalists like we have with like Tom and Bob. But then certain people said, yeah, I'm a journalist, and they're clearly not. So we make the statement all the time. We are not journalists. Just want to go ahead and say that again, that we're not journalists out there.
We're not. We're just opinion makers and opinion setters. Would you call Kevin McPherson a journalist? I would. Basketball recruiting expert, yep, and Razorback basketball expert, and overall amateur basketball expert across the natural state. We'll talk basketball with Kevin McPherson next on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
What's your name? What's your sound? You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Tell me this, do you kiss on the first date?
Kick off the season the right way with a new RV from Crabtree RV in Alma. Crabtree is extending our RV show pricing all season long. Check out our spring show specials like a Salem 207 with a slide and bunks for $147 a month. And with RV show pricing, you can take up to $10,000 off of MSRP on new travel trailers and up to $15,000 off new fifth wheels. And we'll still give you more for your trade than the other guys. At Crabtree RV in Alma, where your family's dreams come true.
Get $60 back by mail on a Firestone Visa prepaid card when you buy a set of 4 eligible tires. Get up to $100 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Your Firestone tires are waiting for you at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 and Exit 14 in Fort Smith.
Valid now through July 8th. Restrictions apply. Card issued by the Bancorp Bank pursuant to a license from Visa USA Inc. The Bancorp Bank member FDIC and can be used everywhere Visa debit cards are accepted. Card terms and conditions apply. See store for details. All rights reserved. Subject to credit approval. The Bancorp Bank is not affiliated with CFNA.
Tired of all the broken promises and broken equipment at your current gym? The Fort Smith Athletic Club is the nicest and most well-equipped fitness and tennis club in the area, with a state-of-the-art fitness center, Pilates, fitness classes, personal and group training, and the best tennis facilities in the region. 7 outdoor courts, 5 indoor courts, plus pickleball and racquetball courts, and free child care is included. The Fort Smith Athletic Club. Call 452-4031 for membership information.
What are people saying about Links at Chaffee Crossing?
It was by far the best barbecue I've had, along with great sides.
Great place to sit down and watch the game on the TV while you're having your favorite drink or beer.
Come and enjoy Links at Chaffee Crossing. Relaxed atmosphere, great barbecue, burgers, and more. Plenty of TVs to watch the game room with a pool table, along with a full bar and lots of cold beer. Good food and good times are all at Links at Chaffee Crossing, off Custer Boulevard in Fort Smith.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
True Grit Running Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Halftime is brought to you by Orr Auto Park. Score more with Orr. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
And this series belongs to the Arkansas Razorbacks. They have taken the first two from the LSU Tigers. And doesn't it just feel good to know that? Did feel good to know that. There's no doubt about it. Felt very good to know that Arkansas finally took down the Rally Possum and the LSU Tigers. But we're going to move over to some basketball right now. Kevin McPherson joining us, covering all things basketball across the Natural State. Kevin, it's been a couple of weeks. How you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. And because of this continuous run for the baseball program, for the Diamond Hogs, and you know, winning a series against LSU is a big deal. We can say we can rephrase it as basketball. Remember that movie?
Yes.
That's bad humor, I know, but
No,
we
great-
can keep the
great
baseball
movie.
theme pumping here.
Yeah, by the South Park guys. That's right. We can
Yeah.
refer to it as some base. I kind of forgot the rules of basketball, which might be a good thing because they seem like
Right.
really difficult rules to memorize. All right, so it seemed like it was a pretty big weekend, not just for baseball, but also for basketball recruiting, which usually those two things go together because the basketball recruits were going to go watch baseball games if they come out for a weekend visit this time of the year. So who was coming in? Is it mostly focusing now on transfers that are coming in, I guess, but were there any high schoolers that came to visit too?
No, just the transfers, and really it was kind of a smart way they set it up. They brought in Connor Vanover for Thursday and Friday.
But
Right.
it's obvious that it's something that this team would need. Even if he's got to sit out a year, it'd be a great get. He's from Little Rock, so I mean, it would seem like it is not just a realistic opportunity to have Connor Vanover choose Arkansas, but it would seem that without knowing him, and I'm assuming you do, that it's almost a given that Arkansas would be a place for him.
Yeah, I think Arkansas is the leader for him. He's got finals today and tomorrow at Cal, and I think we may hear something by Wednesday. Maybe sooner, but I would think by Wednesday. But he also visited Vanderbilt last week, just ahead of his Arkansas visit. And his third option is to remain at Cal, so that's still on the table for him. I think he's always wanted to be a Razorback, and I think we're going to see him call the Hogs. But you're right, Little Rock native. His mom, Robin Irwin Vanover, she was a Razorback. He'd be a legacy if he comes to play for Arkansas because she was on the women's team in the mid-'80s. Like I said, he played at Finley Prep with Reggie Chaney. He and Daniel Gafford were grassroots AAU teammates 4 years ago when the Arkansas Wings made it all the way to the championship of the prestigious Nike Peach Jam for the 16 and under level. So he's got ties to Arkansas, having not only grown up here, but just even in the last couple of years. And I think, I think it's a good fit for what Eric Musselman's doing. I think he fits. And I think he's going to call the Hogs in a few days. If I'm wrong, I'll come back on the show and admit I missed something, but I think that's where it's headed, guys.
Kevin McPherson is our guest, Arkansas basketball, Hogville, other places. Kevin,
I think Nick Smith Jr., another freshman out of Sylvan Hills, putting up big numbers playing up on the Nike EYBL circuit on the 16 under level. Again, class of 2022, 6'3" guard that can do. He's really kind of, to me, got that smoothness factor and skill factor and that it factor, similar to a Moses Moody, who, by the way, just averaged 22 points a game over the weekend at the Nike EYBL session in Indianapolis. But the other guy that I want to talk about real quick is Jalen Williams, the 6'10" forward center out of Northside. He's currently the second leading rebounder on that Nike EYBL 17 and under circuit playing with Woods Elite, averaging between 11 and 12 rebounds a game. I've always said he's a volume rebounder. He can be a volume shot blocker, and he's got so much skill facing the basket. Again, he's a guy that would be a perfect fit for pace and space at Arkansas. Now, he just picked up an offer from Illinois and Auburn in the last week or so, so another guy that to me has really stood out so far in the spring.
Pretty exciting to be a recruiting analyst for basketball in this state these days. It would have been a little bit different if Mike Anderson would have stayed as the head coach, because it just doesn't. It's not the roster would have been settled. There would have been openings, but it just seems that things have really opened up recruiting-wise under Eric Musselman.
Yeah, I kind of refer to what Mike Anderson was doing, and he had his strengths as a recruiter that I think went underappreciated, but I always kind of thought of it as slow drip recruiting. And this is, I think the faucet's is on and it's full bore right now with Musselman, because you see Arkansas putting out offers to 5 stars all across the country, high-level 4 stars, top 50 guys, top 20 guys. And on top of that, the grad transfers and the transfers and the JUCOs. I mean, it's a combination of all of these things, and we really haven't seen that at Arkansas. But it's the way college basketball is moving, and that's the direction. And so you either keep up or you get put out. And I think right now Arkansas is keeping up in terms of pursuing players. They got to cross the finish line, though. They got to get some of these guys in here. And so they've got Jontil Silla, who committed a few weeks ago and actually graduated from North Carolina Wilmington in the last few days, and he'll be joining the team in late May. There were 4 or 5 high major schools that wanted him coming out of Wilmington, so I think that was a recruiting win. Obviously the first one, but you got to get more, and I think he's moving in that direction, especially when you see all these visitors this weekend. I'll be surprised if Arkansas doesn't get at least 2 of those 3 that came to campus.
Well, you hit on something, though, that I think is just as important, more important than firing off offers to 5-star kids out of Arizona or wherever. I mean, it just seems that it's not shots in the dark. But you've got to get a couple of these kids for these offers to even matter, and to think, well, later on when we're winning 25, 26 games a year and this now becomes a destination, you got to have 1 or 2 of these 5-star kids commit, right?
That's right. And I think when I'm looking at his process, he's getting these offers out, but a lot of times as he's building these relationships so far, and with the feedback I've gotten, is that he's talking about a lot of things with these kids, how he can help them, what he sees in their game. He scouts everything and everybody and vets everything and everybody. And I think that's valuable when you go and have conversations with young players. Here's what I see. Here's what stands out. Here's how I can help you. Here's what we can do for you. He's also talking about other things that they're interested in. The NBA playoffs. I think that's a great, obviously this time of year, look how exciting it is, and college basketball season's over. Those are, current topics that these kids relate to. All of them want to play in the NBA. They're watching these games. So for him to be able to kind of bounce around and talk about things that matter to them, I think goes a long way in going through that process of eventually getting them on campus and then getting them, hopefully committed and signed.
All right, Kevin. Well, hopefully we'll be talking about Connor Vanover or a couple of these kids making a decision at some point. And we always appreciate your information and your opinions. Hope you have a good rest of the week.
Same with you guys. Thanks. Good to be with you.
You got it. That's Kevin McPherson covering all things Arkansas basketball across the Natural State. When we come back, we got a ticket giveaway to do on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime.
Only 10% of collision repair shops achieve ICAR Gold Class status, the highest training level recognized in the industry. Evans Body Shop is proud to be one of them. We know the latest repair techniques, how to find hidden damage, and repair your car's critical safety features so they work properly again. We invest in training because we would never cut corners with your family's safety at stake, and neither should you. Get your vehicle repaired at Evans Body Shop, where your safety is our top priority. Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren.
Where we meet the nicest people by accident.
You know, a night out with friends can be so much more. Upgrade your evening at 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Rediscover life's simple pleasures. Dial back, slow down, and immerse yourself in what true relaxation can be. Top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your night on the Avenue.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing, and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They are open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts need, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hinton. You asked, and we listened. New financing options available now at Champ Hinton Enterprises. Can you believe payments starting at $150 a month? 5-minute credit approvals and 0 down with trade-ins. Come find out for yourself why we have been serving families in the River Valley for over 38 years with over 35,000 cars, trucks, and SUVs sold. We treat you like family. Champ Hinton Enterprises, I-540 at the Arcoma exit, or champhinton.com.
You know that Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment in Fort Smith is your go-to shop for everything pressure washers. But did you know that they also handle your industrial pump and supply needs too? It doesn't stop there. Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment's industrial vacuum trucks can handle dry, liquid, and even sludge removal from several hundred feet away. Leave the cleanup to the professionals. Contact Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment at 782-3762. That's 782-3762. Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment, 3116 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith.
This Memorial Day weekend, it's the 18th annual Madness in May, brought to you by Come Get You Some and Performance Center, presented by Extreme Diesel. A family fun weekend of off-road competition at Birds Adventure Center in Cass, Arkansas. Live music, a poker run along with great prizes, and all the off-road competition you can handle. All four-wheelers and UTVs, welcome. For event information, call 479-782-6833. Camping info, call 479-667-4066. Madness in May, this Memorial Day weekend, brought to you by Come Get You Some, presented by Extreme Diesel.
This is Matt Brown, PGA Head Golf Professional. The 47th Annual Ben Guerin 4-Ball is coming up May 31st, June 1st, and 2nd at the Ben Guerin Golf Course. The $150 per person entry fee includes 3 days of golf and a Titleist prize package. This tournament will fill up fast, so call the Pro Shop at 646-5301 or stop by today to reserve your spot in this Fort Smith Classic. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page for all upcoming events, including the ASGA Monk Wade Father-Son Tournament in July. When you think golf, think Ben Guerin.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
High drive by Fletcher, right field. That one's way back, and it is way out of here. Dominic Fletcher crushed that to the last row of Section 135.
Back on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. We always love to give back when we get the opportunity to. And we've got some tickets to see AMA winner Jamie Johnson at Temple Live. Tell him all about it, Tye Richardson.
Yeah, he's won 2 songs of the year, both from the CMAs and the ACM. So we got 4 tickets right now. You just got to call in 877-377-6963. His concert's going to be Sunday, June 9th at 8 p.m. at Temple Live. Tickets pre-sale go on sale this Thursday. Code TEMPLE at 10 a.m. And then tickets go on sale for the general public Friday, May 17th at 10 a.m. So, again, the concert is Sunday, June 9th. Call in right now, 877-377-6963. We got 4 tickets for you. All you got to do is call in.
Sounds good. It's concert time now. I mean, it's pretty much getting to that point of the year. It's almost concert season.
Yeah, and we got good weather. I mean, this weather this weekend in Fayetteville, I know it was rainy. Gosh, our line's just lit up. It was rainy, Phil, that Saturday game, but for the most part, like Sunday was beautiful. Like I helped my buddy move out Sunday. Weather was awesome this for most of this weekend. I enjoyed it. So it's only going to get better.
I got back to Little Rock after the game Saturday, and it was nice and warm in Little Rock. I was sitting outside of the Travelers game on Sunday, and I got my grandmother would say, "Oh, Phil, you got some color." You got some color from being out in the sun. Yes, I did, Grandma Lil. I got some color from being out in the sun. I look nice and red today.
Now, I haven't asked you this before because I don't think we've really started the show. It was September, I think, when we began the show. Do you sunscreen your head? You spray your head up top?
Oh, I just wish we were in the same studio when you asked me that question. Yes, I've done that before. That's partially why I always have a hat on. Or maybe it's a chicken and an egg statement. And, I lost all my hair because I wear a hat all the time. These things work together. They really do.
Yeah.
So, yes, I've sprayed the top of my head when I've been outside.
Sorry, I had to ask that.
It's an unfortunate. Do you spray your face when you have to do that?
I do, and sometimes it gets in my mouth. Deservedly so.
Well, at some point you'll have to spray the top of your head as well. All right, we come back. We got some 3 up, 3 down. We'll also talk a lot of college baseball. Hour number 2, halftime rolling along on a Monday on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Auto Park in Fort Smith combines over 90 years of family-owned experience with the best sales and service teams around. And at Orr Auto Park, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime engine warranty, free maintenance for 2 years, and free car washes for the life of the vehicle. The largest selection, the biggest discounts, and the best buying experience around. These are some of the reasons why you always score more with Orr Auto Park in Fort Smith. Stop in today, or they are always open online 24/7 at OrrAutoPark.com.
World Class Fitness in Fort Smith is not like other gyms. Open 24/7 so you can work out however, whenever you want. With women's only workout area, free childcare, racquetball courts, and large free weight area, this is the gym for you. World Class Fitness is not that gym. There are no limitations to your goals, gains, or success. No contract and special discount pricing options available. So visit WCFit.com or stop by World Class Fitness today. Don't forget to try clean cooking for your meal prep needs.
At Michelob Ultra, we know it's not just about how much you work out every day. It's about how much you work into every day, too. So we brew our beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come at the expense of spending time with friends. Those who understand that just because you work out doesn't mean you can't go out. And that's why we brew Michelob Ultra to have 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and a crisp, clean taste. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who live fit, live fun, live Ultra. Enjoy responsibly. 2018 Michelob Ultra Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams of protein, and 0 grams fat for 12 ounces.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half price. And all beers on tap are half price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps. Tommy Kraft for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, controlled access, and card readers. Call the Fence Man for a quick, no obligations quote. 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
We've got high pressure moving back into the southeastern states with fair weather. We'll have cool temperatures, though, with our lows in the mid to upper 40s. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow and warmer with our highs reaching the mid to upper 70s. Clear for Monday night, a few showers Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Hertz Car Sales, 2810 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith. You can call them today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com.
I hate everything you just said. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is halftime, coming at you from the Bush and Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
They're hilarious.
Good morning, Vietnam! Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
You
want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry. You know, anything travels that far, ought to have a damn stewardess on it, don't you think?
With Phil Elson.
You do a fantastic job on the radio. There's no one else in this league I'd rather listen to, so keep up the good work.
And Tye Richardson.
Tye, I love the way you talk, buddy.
Raise that bright red flag to the skies. 423 miles away, the Emerald City awaits. The Hogs are going to Omaha.
But hold on, it's almost halftime.
Oh, it's good to be alive on a Monday on halftime. Arkansas baseball is rolling. We've got the NCAA tournament coming up in a couple of weeks. It is beautiful outside. School is out in a couple of weeks as well. Vacations will be scheduled and suntans will be had. There will be plenty of wonderful things to do. And we've got lots of things to talk about here on halftime in our second hour. Phil Stanton of College Baseball Insider joining us at the bottom of hour number 2. Phil's been covering college baseball for a long time, and he'll actually have, I think, an interesting insight into really the big news in college basketball today and the NBA, aside from anything going on in the playoffs, with John Beilein now taking over as the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, leaving the University of Michigan and really leaving the game of college basketball after a very, very long and successful run. Started his head coaching career with Canisius in 1993, and now at the end of the 2019 season is heading to the NBA. The reason I say this is that Phil Stanton was also the SID for the University of Richmond when Beilein was the head coach at Richmond. So I think that'll be some interesting insight as well. So we were bringing him on to talk college baseball, and I guess we're going to talk a little college basketball with him too.
Yeah, I got to get a little bit of insight there because he'll obviously, with 4 or 5 years working for Coach Beilein, that's kind of an interesting dynamic that I don't think that there's many of those connections. So that's kind of cool to touch on college baseball and then touch on that because that was a out-of-the-box hire. I don't think anyone saw that coming. I didn't see any reports. I know the Woj bomb, Adrian Wojnarowski dropped that, and when he says something, his word is gold. So the fact that he came out and said that, wrote a pretty good story on that on ESPN.com, how it happened. But it's going to be interesting because Cleveland, since LeBron's left, don't know if that's a franchise that's going to be salvageable. We'll see.
Well, that's definitely an up for John Beilein. We got a couple of things that are going up or down ourselves. 3 up, 3 down.
Strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. What does 3 up and 3 down mean to you, Airman?
End of an inning. Strike 3.
Well, I guess we have more than a couple things because a couple would be 2. What's a few to you, Ty? Before I get into this, is a few to you 3 or is it more than 3? Because for me, a few is more than a couple, so a few is 3.
So my dad always used to get mad at me when I said a couple, and I was referring to it when it wasn't 2. I'd just say a couple, like a few, a couple. That kind of sounds the same to me. I know couple, when you think a couple, a man and a wife, that's pretty stand out. That's what it stands out then. But like for other different things, I don't know, couple, few. I don't really get specific. I'm not one of those picky guys that say, no, you have to say this, you got to say that. I'm pretty easygoing with phrases, words, whatever.
Well, I'll be picky with the idea of a couple because a couple is 2, and then a few goes anything after that. So a few is, to me, anywhere from 3 to 7.
Okay.
And after 7, I'm going to have to just say some or many. All right, so that's not a 3 up, 3 down. But my first up is for former Arkansas catchers in Major League Baseball, doing it on 2 ends of the spectrum. James McCann can't be stopped right now. Now over with the Chicago White Sox. He went 6 for 9 over the weekend for the White Sox in victories over the Toronto Blue Jays. And McCann is slashing .382, .421, .607. So, I mean, he's got one of the highest batting averages in baseball right now at .382. He doesn't qualify, well, I mean, to the batting race. I mean, it's still mid-May, so there's no batting race. But he doesn't have the necessary at-bats to qualify to appear on the leaderboards, but he's not that far off. He would rank second in Major League Baseball in batting average if he had the necessary at-bats. And again, I don't think he's too far off of that. I can't imagine that anybody would have seen this coming from James McCann, who's a really good Major League catcher. Not in his own right. He just is. He's a really good Major League catcher who was not a guy that would be getting on base all that much until this year. He did for a little bit of power here and there. He'd had a 13 home run season, a 12 home run season. But I mean, he was mostly, hitting in the 230s, the low 240s, and on base percentage that very rarely got above 300. So he wasn't really a good hitting catcher, just provided a little power every once in a while. And then all of a sudden this year, something has clicked. And again, it's mid-May. We'll talk in late September when the full body of work is underneath you. But at least for the first 6 weeks, there's no better offensive catcher in baseball than James McCann. 4 home runs, 11 knocked in 24 games. And again, a .421 on base percentage, it just doesn't really compute. And then there's Blake Parker, who's doing it, and he was an Arkansas catcher, but he converted to the pitcher's mound once he became a professional baseball player. Parker is one of the top relievers right now in the American League for a good Twins team. He's got a 132 earned run average. He's made 14 appearances and only been scored upon in 2 of them. And he threw 2 no-hit innings this weekend in a loss against the Detroit Tigers. It's only the second game that he appeared for the Twins that they didn't win. He's allowing less than 1 base runner per inning, 12 base runners in 13 2/3 innings. And I wouldn't say that it came out of nowhere for Parker, because he did have a couple of pretty successful years in a row pitching out of the bullpen for the Los Angeles Angels, and he's also had one really good year pitching for the Cubs. But at this point, he's doing better than he ever had before, and of course he's working with Wes Johnson, who didn't coach him at Arkansas, but is the former Arkansas pitching coach. So yes, former Arkansas catchers in the major leagues right now are way up. My first down goes to shooting percentages behind the three-point line in NCAA basketball, and that's because the line is moving back. Is a proposal that the NCAA will decide on June 5th to move the three-point shot line back a little more than 2 feet. As of right now, the three-point line is 20 feet and 9 inches behind. That's where it starts, 20 feet 9 inches back. It's going to move to 22 feet 1 3/4 inches from the basket, so a little less than 2 feet difference, and that means the shooting percentages are going to go down. This was the same distance that the NIT used for the NIT this past year, and shooting percentages were down by over two full percentage points. So I think there's going to be a difference in the shooting percentages behind the line if this is adopted by the NCAA, and really it seems to me that it's going to be adopted by the NCAA.
And I think Ken Palm had this statistic in the 2017-2018 season, like 37% of shots attempted were from the three-point line. It's gone up so much, and what you're trying to do, and they're also probably going to widen the lane as well, just to basically ask people to drive more, shoot less threes, because it's trending in the wrong direction. You want people going to the basket and less of that. And I know 3 points like a barrage of threes sometimes when guys are making it's fun to watch, but I think there's too many teams today that aren't good at it and they're still trying to do it. So I'm in favor of that. I don't know about you, but I think most people are.
I'm fine with it, and I like most of these rules changes. Especially, I like the idea of resetting the shot clock to 20 seconds after an offensive rebound instead of getting the full 35 seconds. I like this. This will lead to more shots and less wasted time. So I'm a fan of that one. Also, players could be assessed a flagrant 2 or ejected if they use derogatory language about an opponent's race, ethnicity, religion, gender, sexual orientation, or disability. I'm fine with that. Coaches can call live ball timeouts in the last 2 minutes of the second half and last 2 minutes of overtime periods, and honestly, I didn't realize they couldn't. And also allowing instant replay review in the last 2 minutes of the second half and last 2 minutes of any overtime if a basket interference or goaltending call has been made, and I'm fine with that too. I would assume that all of this will pass.
All right, my first up, and I talked about it a little bit earlier in the broadcast, Phil invited me to sit in with him and Bubba Friday night for Game 2 of Arkansas LSU, and I had a lot of fun. I just sat. It was just us three in the press box, and I really enjoyed it, Phil. And I always think I prepped a lot for a radio show. I was told, one of my professors when I was in college told me for every hour of radio you're on, you need 2 hours of prep. So I prep at least 4 hours of information for our show at least every single day. And then I walked into the press box and saw all the clippings, all the different statistics, and everything you had laid out, which you described to me a little bit. You talked about how many tabs you have open, how many things you have open on your computer, how everything laid out. And you really can't, you can imagine it all you want, but until you're actually there, I feel you prep so much, man. I'm proud of you on a daily basis. But I was genuinely like, if I felt like a father figure, even though you got 18 years on me when I walked in studio, I was like, wow, he puts his heart and soul into this thing. And yeah, you're color coordinated, like stats and stuff, and you would mark them down. I was genuinely not surprised, but again, it's one of those things where you see it for the first time, you're just in awe of it.
Well, I appreciate that very much, Ty, but the thing that I really was trying to impress you with was how quickly I could make it from my seat in the booth to the bathroom and then back before the commercial break ends. Bubba timed it. Did he show you the time?
He did. You were flying. So in one commercial break, Phil told me, he's like, all right, next commercial break, you need to get out of my way, make sure no cords or anything, because I got to sprint to the bathroom. And Bubba turns on the timer as soon as Phil sprints out, and he's showing me this timer, and he's like, Ty, when I went to the bathroom, there were like 10 people in front of me, so I hope they let Phil through. Apparently there's just this unspoken rule that when you're at the bathroom, people just let you go because they know you're trying to get back to the broadcast, but you're flying, man. I respect it.
I think I made it in 67 seconds.
I think that was correct. Yeah, you took off. I've seen Casey Martin fly around those bases. I'd have a tough time seeing him beat Phil Elson when it came to a race to get to the bathroom in between breaks.
Practice, man. Practice.
All right.
That's what it's all about. All right, my second up is to the interesting career of Edwin Jackson, Major League pitcher who is about to set an all-time record because he was just traded from the Oakland A's minor league system to the Toronto Blue Jays. So theoretically, at some point this season, and hopefully sometime soon, Edwin Jackson will pitch for his 14th Major League team. How many big league teams are there? There are 32? And he's pitched for almost half of them. Holy moly. Edwin Jackson started his major league career at the age of 19 as a super prospect for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And that's who he spent his first 3 years of his career with. So let's look throughout this career. He's pitched for the Dodgers. He's pitched for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, back when they were called the Devil Rays instead of the Rays, the Detroit Tigers, the Arizona D-backs, the Chicago White Sox, St. Louis, Washington Nationals, Chicago Cubs, Atlanta Braves, Miami Marlins, San Diego Padres. In 2017, he pitched for Baltimore and then Washington again, and then the Oakland Athletics. Washington's the only team that's taken him twice. He hasn't pitched for the same team in two separate stints. So at some point this year, the 34-year-old now, or 35-year-old Edwin Jackson will appear for his 14th Major League team. He's had an interesting career. I mean, he's won 104 games, but he's lost 123. He's got a .460 earned run average, which is good. You know, it's about average. He's been a very average Major League pitcher. He's led the American League, the National League, in losses with 18 with the Cubs in 2013. He's made one All-Star team, 2009 with Detroit. And it's just it's difficult to hang around in the game of Major League Baseball for as long as he has. But when you keep getting traded to other teams and somebody still shows interest in you, I guess you keep on going. And with the money you make as a Major League pitcher, why not keep it going? Edwin Jackson, 14 Major League teams. That's up for me. All right, second down for me is also this last weekend. The last week I had to try to plan or help plan with my ex-wife the camp activities for my kids over the summer. You know how difficult this is to do, to like try to coordinate everything, all the weeks that you are out of school, and all of the. I'm used to having a schedule put out in front of me, you know, by basketball and baseball, and say, okay, so I guess I have to plan my life according to what this schedule says.
Yeah.
So there's also a schedule of nothing once school is over. I mean, it's like it's free form. It's like silly putty. Whatever you do on it is therefore the schedule. So you've got to piece together week by week. It's like 12 or 13 weeks of summer vacation, and you don't want the kids just sitting around with their fingers up their nose and their hands on a TV remote. So you got to find things to do. So I mean, we've got zoo camp, we've got sleepaway camp, we've looked at engineering camp, we've looked at art camp. And then, you know, maybe take a trip to Pittsburgh camp, that kind of thing. I mean, plan ahead at some point, Ty. Please plan ahead at some point, because when you are a father, and at some point you're going to be, one of the more frustrating things that you will do is trying to plan your kids' summertime activities. And the other thing that sucks is making lunch in the morning. That's a frustrating event to do, especially with a couple of picky kids. So that's also a little bit down for me.
I remember those old camp days. I went to Brook Hill, Harding team basketball camp, just a variety, Steve Shields basketball. I mean, I went to everything when I was a kid. I was fortunate that my dad pretty much let us like pick out a bunch of camps we got to go to, and I had a blast. Summer camps as kids were fun. Church camp, whatever it was, we had a blast. But I'm not envious of your position where you have to plan it all, pick them up, and make all the food. That's the no fun side of it, Phil. Even though there's a lot of fun parts of being a dad, that's not one of them, I would say.
But it's all about love anyway. It's all, you want them to have a good and memorable summer. I don't want them just sitting around. We'll sit around a little bit. We'll look at each other a little bit, but I want them to have fun. So you got to try to plan it, and the planning just is kind of tough.
All right, second up for me, Kawhi Leonard shot. Kevin Harlan on the call.
You got to be aware of the inbounder here if you're Philly.
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger?
And as great as he is as a broadcaster, the call doesn't even do it justice. For those who have not seen Kawhi Leonard shot from last night, Toronto Raptors forward, you got to watch it. And I would also suggest that you watch the clipped version of Vern's 2005 Masters call.
This, yeah.
You need to watch this in the commercial break. For those who haven't seen this, I know we got a lot of golf fans on the show. Just type in your computer, your phone, Vern Masters Kawhi Leonard shot, and it'll pop up. Click on it, and it's the whatever that was, just the incredible shot Tiger hit back in the day that it didn't look like it was going in, then dipped in. Because if you watch last night's game, the Kawhi Leonard shot that he hit over 7-foot Joel Embiid in the corner hits the rim like 3 or 4 times before finally going in. It was incredible. And again, Kevin Harlan, just such a dynamo, such a good broadcaster.
Yeah, Harlan's incredible, and this whole Vern Lundquist golf call over the basketball shot sounds a lot like the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon thing that you play Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon from the start of Wizard of Oz. You ever try this before?
I have not.
This was a thing I tried in college. You know, when you're a little bit out of your mind, and somebody says, "Hey, man, let's do the Dark Side of the Moon album over the Wizard of Oz," and they're supposed to go together. It's like supposed to work together in some way. It didn't work for me when I tried it, but apparently it's worked for some others.
Is that the Dark Side of the Moon? Is that or
you're
no?
singing on the radio time?
Okay.
No, that's not. We'll play it for you at some point.
Okay.
It sounds to me like this will have to be some halftime homework at some point. I mean, you need to teach you a little bit about some Pink Floyd.
I got a lot to learn. So
way
many different
too much to learn.
areas.
And we only have a 2-hour show to teach with.
My catalog of halftime homework just keeps getting bigger. You know how in homework your workload gets smaller and smaller the more things you complete, like a school year? Mine just keeps growing because I keep finding out that I have more things to learn, more artists, more movies, more TV shows. It's never going to end, man. Never going to end. Second down for me, Phil. I just woke up this morning and I felt like I got hit like a truck. You're looking at me right now. I look like death. I honestly look like I've been sneezing all morning. I had to walk out several times during the morning rush and blow my nose. And I don't know what it was. I felt fine yesterday, but I woke up this morning and I just had a runny nose. My head doesn't hurt, like my stomach. I feel like death. That's pretty much the only way I can describe it. So
sounds to me like you've got a serious case of the Mondays. I think this happened last week too, but that was for other reasons. Like you had a crazy weekend the week before, but what'd you have going on this past weekend that got you sick this time?
Buddy's graduation, so I guess you could tack that up to that. But I guess it's just the sign that I'm getting older and I can't do it as much as I used to.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how you always feel crappy on Mondays. Interesting.
I felt bad after CrossFit went on Friday. I think it's just a weird phenomenon that's happening.
Well, that's a CrossFit thing. That's just because you're a human being and they're not meant to do those CrossFit things.
It's not even CrossFit. It's me being stupid enough not to eat that night and that following morning after CrossFit. That's what really goes into.
Yeah, that's also that's a way down. That's a you're telling your body to get off its own lawn at that case. So that would be something to say for tomorrow. My third up goes to SEC softball. There are 13 teams that play softball in the SEC. Only Vanderbilt doesn't. They have lacrosse and bowling. They don't have softball at Vanderbilt. And all 13 SEC teams got bids to the NCAA tournament. I think that's 2 years in a row this has happened. This is kind of crazy to think that out of 64 slots, all 13 teams in the SEC go. That includes Arkansas. They go to Stillwater and play against Tulsa to open up, and then Oklahoma State and BYU are the other two teams at the Stillwater Regional. They play opposite the Tallahassee Regional, hosted by defending national champion Florida State, South Carolina, USF, and Bethune-Cookman. Oklahoma is the top overall seed. Of course, they beat Arkansas in the Supers last year. And there are 5 SEC schools that are hosting regionals: Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee, Ole Miss, and LSU. Third down is, so I went to the Travs game yesterday with the lovely lady and her lovely daughter. And it's the first game I've been able to go to this year where I don't have to broadcast a game. So I love that. It's just nice. You know, you just kind of enjoy some nachos and a Coca-Cola and the weather and feet up and nice company and everything. And whenever I go to Dickey Stevens Park, where I worked for 8 years and worked for the Travs for 14 seasons, I see a lot of familiar faces, and they want to catch up, and we'll talk a little bit. So one of the fans comes up to me and said, and this is a woman who I've known ever since I moved to Arkansas, because I moved to Arkansas in 2001 to work for the Travelers at the old ballpark, and this fan was there for all the games then. So she has seen me grow from 23 years old to 42 years old, and apparently she's also seen my waistline grow a little bit, because these were her words to me. "You look like you've put on weight. You were way too rail thin earlier." And it was just like one of those moments that stopped me dead in my tracks, because she's trying to give me a compliment, saying I look better because I looked gaunt before when I was running for 8 or 9 straight months and I was down to 150 pounds. Nobody likes to hear you've put on weight, no matter what. I don't care who you are or the situation you're in. Nobody likes to hear those words. So she was trying to be nice. And look, I didn't take it like an insult. I smiled and said, "Thank you. I feel good. Maybe I was a little bit too gaunt, but I'm going to try to get back there as soon as I could." Then she made fun of her own waistline. So, I mean, I didn't do it. She did. So I don't know. That was a little bit of a down.
Jeez. People are savages these days. You got to be careful when you're walking down the streets. All right, third up and final up for me. Did you see the Padres at one point in time? They lost their Twitter handle. So, Phil, they changed on Mother's Day. They changed their Twitter account handle. It was originally Padres, and they changed it to Madres, just in honor
cute.
of the great mothers we have. Well, this kid named Ricky Padilla decided, hey, they don't have their handle anymore. I'm going to take it. And so he just got the account for a little bit, and he just started tweeting stuff because people would tweet at the Padres account, and he'd just tweet back at him, and he had his profile picture and everything. And he gave it back to the Padres, and he's getting free tickets for his parents out of that. So, smart move by him by just seeing, I'm going to take the Padres account. Smart kid. Plays baseball at Calvin College. So, good for him. Third down for me, Phil. What's the most you've ever spent in a weekend? Just doing whatever? Just going out, hanging out?
That's a tough thing to ask to put me on the spot there.
I think you know a number. I think you just throw out a number.
I mean, if you're talking, a weekend would be like travel, food, tickets to whatever it is you're doing, right? We're talking 3 days and whatever. I don't know, maybe $1,200.
Okay. Well, my buddy, who I'm not going to list him by name because I don't just want people to blast him for it, he spent $600 in his hometown on Saturday on brunch and drinks. How do you spend $600 in a day on brunch and drinks? Like, how does that even
That's a lot of money for food and beverage.
That's what I said. He said, yeah, I don't want to check my bank account. And he looked at it. He's like, guys, I spent $600 on Saturday on brunch and going out. And I was just like, you're an idiot. Like, there's no other. You can't. You just can't do that. And
was he feeding a baseball team? I mean, did he take out an entire youth baseball team for brunch?
I guess he just thought that he was just going to live like a king for a day. Like I'm 24 years old. I know my limits when it comes to finances. I know I can't go spend $600 in a weekend not a weekend, maybe like vacation or something, but in a day just at home. I'm not going to spend $600 going up to Fayetteville for a weekend. I'm not going to spend $600 in Fort Smith. I don't care if you live in New York City. You don't need to be blowing $600 in a day just by drinking and eating. So that's my third down for the weekend, Phil.
I'll spend $600 on tickets to the baseball playoffs. That's a different thing. What are you eating? Are you eating gold bars? I mean, did you take $600, like actual $100 bills, and stuff them in your face and eat them? Because that sounds to me like I don't know how you spent $600 on brunch.
No. Bobby Flay private cooking something for you or whatever, Gordon Ramsay, whatever your favorite chef is, that's not worth $600 to me. So
no, I doubt it.
Moron.
You know, it is worth more than $600, especially if you're getting into real estate, investing, or if you're looking for a new home. Just an easy phone call to Quantum Property Services. Buying, selling, or investing, Quantum Property Services encompasses all your property needs. And right now, you get with their real estate pros to find a new home because interest rates are low, so you get more house for your money. Quantum Real Estate has seasoned pros that know their stuff. They can guide you through the experience with confidence. And maybe you're looking to get into investing. One call does it all. Quantum can find the right property or properties and make it hassle-free by managing those properties for you. Call Quantum at 479-434-6860 or go to quantumpropertyservicesinc.com. Some Arkansas news coming after the break. This is ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Good coaches win. Great coaches cover. This is Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
Better by, would that be Khalid?
That's correct. Yeah.
All right.
That's a
That was
decent
one
song.
of them I heard. Sunflower.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift song Me.
Yeah.
Sunflower by Post Malone.
There you go.
So y'all can't say anymore that the old man hadn't listened to some Post Malone. Dancing with a Stranger by Sam Smith. This is great stuff that I will never listen to again.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Kick off the season the right way with a new RV from Crabtree RV in Alma. Crabtree is extending our RV show pricing all season long. Check out our spring show specials like a Salem 207 with a slide and bunks for $147 a month. And with RV show pricing, you can take up to $10,000 off of MSRP on new travel trailers and up to $15,000 off new fifth wheels. And we'll still give you more for your trade than the other guys. At Crabtree RV in Alma, where your family's dreams come true.
Spring into color at the Paint Store in Van Buren. Your favorite choice for inspiration in choosing those vibrant colors from Richard's Paints to finish your warm weather renovations. The Paint Store in Van Buren is contractor friendly and special orders don't upset them. Sue and Vicky, with over 30 years of experience, welcome all your painting questions and will help you feel confident in your choices of Richard's Paints. The Paint Store is at 1414 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren. Come and see them or check them out on Facebook today.
It's your piece of land, your point of pride, your place of peace and quiet. Your yard means something to you. So mow like you mean business with a professional-grade Gravely zero-turn mower. Gravely means comfort. Gravely means strength. Gravely means cutting precision. Gravely mowers mean business. Gravely, build to mow the distance.
Visit Bush Machine and Tractor, 7301 0 Street in Fort Smith, or at bushtractor.com.
Tommy Kraft for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, controlled access, and card readers. Call the Fence Man for a quick, no obligations quote. 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Looking to find a team that gives you more than just a place to be a stylist? Supercuts team members take pride in maintaining a positive, professional, and creative workplace. Supercuts team members provide the highest quality for guests by attending training courses at our Hairstylist Academy. Supercuts has been the highest base paid in the market, including time off, commission-based performance pay, great tips, company-sponsored health insurance, and much more. Simply apply online at supercuts.com or contact Joe at 520-203-4316.
Does this sound like you?
Or is this more like it?
Or maybe your inner biker sounds like...
No matter what motorcycle motor is music to your ears, Shelter Insurance has a policy that's music to your wallet.
Shelter insures your fun stuff. Motorcycles to riding mowers, ATVs to RVs, bikes to bass boats. If it rides, rolls, or floats, we can cover it. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Shelter agents Brandon Zimmerman or Chris Dooley about a free insurance review.
Arts is more than barbecue and burgers. As a matter of fact, Arts has some of the best fried shrimp, grilled tilapia, and salmon you will find. And don't forget the catfish at Arts. Full-size meaty fillets, fried crispy golden brown, with hush puppies and all the fixins. And every Friday is Catfish Friday, featuring their catfish special at lunch and the all-you-can-eat Friday night special. Arts, more than just great barbecue and burgers. Try one of the shrimp or fresh fish entrees at Arts Barbecue on Rogers Avenue next to Aaron's in Fort Smith.
Halftime is brought to you by Orr Auto Park. Score more with Orr. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
1-2 pitch. Open swings. Hard shot. Through the right side. Base hit. Washington to third. He gets the green light. And the throw. Not in time. Hogs win. The Razorbacks finish the sweep of Missouri. And that's how you do a Sunday at Baum Stadium.
We'll talk with Phil Stanton about Arkansas baseball and the overall national college baseball landscape in just a few moments. But now going a little over some Razorback news. Savion Williams has committed to play a wide receiver for Arkansas. He'll come out of the 2020 class, 7th player committed for that class, a 3-star player who is out of Texas, was ranked as the 102nd best overall recruit from the Lone Star State and the 139th best wide receiver in the class of 2020. So as of now, the 2020 class ranked 29th in the country in the way too early recruiting rankings and 9th best in the SEC. Also, a mock draft on Yahoo Sports picking Daniel Gafford to get, I like this, 30th to the Bucks. If you can imagine, he would be a pretty decent fill-in to come off the bench for Giannis.
A little rim runner for Giannis. I think that would be fun to watch. Little couple alley-oops to each other. I'm down for that.
Other players that you would definitely recognize out of the SEC that they've got going on this mock draft. The first SEC player barely played, Darius Garland. They've got Garland out of Vanderbilt going 10th to Minneapolis. Lakers picking P.J. Washington out of Kentucky with the 11th pick. Other SEC players that they've got listed going ahead: Grant Williams, 19th to the Spurs. Naz Reid, 22nd to the Boston Celtics. Keldon Johnson of Kentucky, 23rd to the Jazz. And I know there's one more in here, Tyler Harrow going 28th to the Golden State Warriors. And then Daniel Gafford, the last first-round pick. So that was, again, a mock draft coming out of Yahoo Sports. Also, Saturday Down South picks that Arkansas has the easiest Week 1 opponent in the SEC. The Razorbacks play Portland State, who, I mean, this is a division. This is an FCS team. So they've got Portland State picked as the easiest opponent. The toughest opponent would be Oregon. They play against Auburn in Cowboy Stadium. I think that's the actual. Is that the first game overall for the season? Isn't that the actual kickoff for the college football season?
Man, I hope so, because that's going to be a fun one. I mean, you got Justin Herbert, and I don't know who's going to start at the Auburn quarterback position, but with all this intensity being associated with Les Miles and his seat heating up, you got to win that Week 1 matchup, even though you're going against maybe the second or third best quarterback coming out of next year's draft class, Phil.
All right, better step aside. Phil Stanton coming on to talk some college baseball with us. He's the editor of College Baseball Insider. This is Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Tye Sports Radio.
Get $60 back by mail on a Firestone Visa prepaid card when you buy a set of 4 eligible tires. Get up to $100 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Your Firestone tires are waiting for you at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith.
Valid now through July 8th. Restrictions apply. Card issued by the Bancorp Bank pursuant to a license from Visa USA Inc. The Bancorp Bank member FDIC and can be used everywhere Visa debit cards are accepted. Card terms and conditions apply. See store for details. All rights reserved. Subject to credit approval. The Bancorp Bank is not affiliated with CFNA.
May is here, and at Frankfurt Furniture, it's time for May Pick a Number sale. Not customers who finance get to draw a ticket out of our Pick a Number box with discounts from 5% to 50% off.
Remember, always at Frankfurt Furniture for our cash customers, 25% off if you're paying with check, cash, or card.
Also register to win your choice of a 50-inch smart TV or a recliner to be given away May 31st.
Frankfurt Furniture, your Made in the USA headquarters.
Best seats in the house.
Well, at least you didn't hit me with a pan this time.
Hey dads, do you have an athlete in your house that is looking to take their skills to the next level? Excel Speed Training at the Fort Smith Athletic Club has the proven results to maximize your athlete's potential. Designed for both male and female athletes of all ages and various sports to improve mobility, endurance, agility, and vertical jump. Take your game to the next level with Excel Speed Training. Call Mike Johnson at 479-926-0193. That's Mike at 479-926-0193 at the Fort Smith Athletic Club.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Or Auto Park in Fort Smith combines over 90 years of family-owned experience with the best sales and service teams around. And at Or Auto Park, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime engine warranty, free maintenance for 2 years, and free car washes for the life of the vehicle. The largest selection, the biggest discounts, and the best buying experience around. These are some of the reasons why you always score more with Or Auto Park in Fort Smith. Stop in today, or they are always open online 24/7 at orautopark.com.
Evans Body Shop is ready to get your vehicle spiffed up for all the fun activities and trips that come along with the summer. Spend your days at the pool, not worrying about getting your car fixed. We'll do that for you. We will work with you and your insurance company to make the entire process easy. Follow us on Facebook so that you won't miss your chance to win Parrot Island tickets throughout the summer. Stop in today, 412 Portland Avenue, Van Buren, and you'll see why we say
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
High drive, way back into right field. You can kiss that one goodbye. That cleared the video board. Heston Kjerstad with a grand slam. One of 5 grand slams hit by Arkansas this baseball season. Number 5 was hit by Jack Kenley in Thursday's 14-4 pasting of the LSU Tigers, in which the Hogs took 2 out of 3 from LSU and are now 7-2 in weekend series in the SEC. That's something I wanted to talk about right now with Phil Stanton, who is the outstanding editor of College Baseball Insider and been covering the college game for a long, long time. First time on Halftime, though, and Phil, really appreciate you joining us today. How are you?
I'm doing well, Phil. Hope you are also.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you can't win 2 out of 3 from LSU when you're Arkansas and not see the sun up there in the sky today. There are some fans who were disappointed that they didn't complete the sweep, but I'm looking at the long picture here, and right now, this Arkansas team, Phil, has won 7 of 9 SEC series. That's incredibly difficult to do, and I wonder if you think that might already be enough of a statement for the selection committee to look and say, look, this is one of the top 8 teams in the country. This is a national seed.
I think that is definitely a criteria that they'll look at, but, I think they'll continue. They want to see Arkansas continue that success, so they'll want to see what they do this weekend, and then they'll also want to see what they do during the SEC tournament. And this weekend will be really tough in having to go on the road to Texas A&M. Texas A&M's RPI right now is 13, so they've still got in their mind that if they finish well, that they may have a shot of trying to work their way up and potentially be, if not a national seed, at least a regional host. So, I think still a lot on the line. Arkansas has got themselves in a great position right now, number 6 in the RPI. So I think if they, 2 things I think that would be huge for them to help their cause on being a national seed. One, to stay in that top 8 amongst the RPI, and then also to be number 1 in the Western Division. I think if they have those 2 on their resume, they're going to be in great shape.
Well, I think that they're in better shape than maybe would have been expected this weekend. A&M is without Asa Lacy, who is suspended for for being ejected from last Saturday's game. So they're without one of their better starting pitchers. Of course, that doesn't mean you're going to win. You still got to go out there and play, and I know A&M is really solid with pitching. I want to ask about just the overall body of work for Arkansas this year, because I didn't know what to expect at the start of this baseball season, and I got the sense that a lot of the votes for early polls had to do with Arkansas's brand name and the coaching staff. And Dave Van Horn even said as much. What did you expect maybe out of Arkansas baseball at the start or early in the season, and have they surpassed the expectations up to here?
Well, for me, they have surpassed. I thought they were going to be a solid team. I know in our preseason composite poll, they were number 16. So I thought that maybe was where they were going to be, kind of in that 16 to 20. That maybe they would finish third on the East, in the Western Division. Mississippi State had so much coming back from last year. I think a lot of people felt like they were, going to be the team to beat, and a lot of people were really, really high on LSU. So I was thinking, I think a lot of other ones were thinking that Arkansas might be a close third behind them. So I think for them to have swept Mississippi State, I mean, that's the highlight of the season, I think, to be able to get 3 wins. A series win against Mississippi State would have been, great to have on the resume, but to get a sweep, I think that was huge. And so now you look at the 2 teams that were considered the favorites in the preseason in the West, with LSU and with Mississippi State. For Arkansas to be 5-1 against those 2, I think that's just huge for them. So I've been really impressed. Their offense is much better than I thought it was going to be. I thought they were going to, maybe have to rely on the pitching, but I think the offense has been so strong all year. I think that's really helped them to get where they are.
Talking with Phil Sand, college baseball insider here on Halftime. Phil, I got a chance to go to Omaha back in 2015 when Arkansas made it there. And then just previous to that, we talked about it before he came on, how I actually freelanced for College Baseball Insider up here in Fayetteville back when I was in college. And one of the unique things about baseball, and I know they do it in a couple of other college sports, is the fact that some of these postseason games you get to play at home. And you don't do that for college basketball. You don't do that for college football. And I know there's been people have thought about, like with the college football playoff, possibly if they had 8 teams in, have the top teams host. But how unique is it for college baseball to have, just for fans' point of view, have these games at home leading up to Omaha?
Well, it's huge in a lot of ways. One, for the teams to be able to earn that home field advantage, that's just a huge plus, where you've got the 8 teams that are going to be the national seed, that they've got a chance of not only hosting a regional, but also hosting a super regional. Then you have 9 through 16 that'll host a regional. You look at Arkansas, I think they're one of the teams that probably has the best home field advantage in the country, because they seem to just play so much better at home than they do when they go on the road. So it's a huge advantage that if you are a national seed, you've got that potential to be at home, all the way through till you get to the College World Series. And another thing, when the NCAA expanded the tournament format, when they went from just regionals to adding the super regional round, the revenues just shot up. In baseball, I've not seen numbers recently for all championships, but I had heard several years ago that there were only 3 championships that made money: men's basketball, baseball, and wrestling. So baseball, when you're able to have regionals and super regionals in facilities that are 8,000 to 10,000 seats, that's a great financial windfall for the NCAA as well. But I think for the teams themselves, you have that comfort factor of being at home, but then you have the chance of having that home field advantage too, which Mississippi State, thrives on that. LSU thrives on that. A lot of the schools through the SEC do. So it really is something that's unique for baseball, and I think that really adds to the excitement that carries you through from regionals to super regionals, and then take that excitement on into Omaha.
So on the other sides of things, Phil, the College World Series is at the same location every single year. Originally, it was at Rosenblatt Stadium. Now it's at TD Ameritrade. Do you ever want to see the College World Series change cities?
I do not, at least for the time being. As long as the city of Omaha continues to support the event like they do, when decisions were being talked about as to what was going to happen post Rosenblatt, there had been some talk about trying to move the World Series around potentially to major league stadiums. And I think that would have been a big mistake because, it just would not have been as big a deal if you're playing that in Chicago or if you're playing in Los Angeles. Now, maybe had they picked, maybe Kansas City, St. Louis, might have been a little different. But I think with the support that the people in Omaha give to that event, I would love to see them be able to continue to be able to host that. In the mid-'90s, the city of Richmond hosted the men's Division I soccer national championship, and they had it for 4 years. They had over 21,000 the first year, and then I think it slipped back to maybe 18,000 by year 4. But the NCAA got a little greedy on that one, decided that they thought they could go into NFL stadiums, so they moved to Charlotte, and they went around to some other NFL cities, and then they've tried some soccer only venues, some MLS stadiums, and I don't know that they've gotten even to 10,000 over the last 20 years. So, I think they've got such a good thing going with Omaha. There's that great support. You could have Miami playing Cal State Fullerton, and there's nobody who's geographically close, but you're going to have 20,000 people there, and you're going to have a bunch that'll be rooting for the Titans. You'll have a bunch that'll be rooting for the Hurricanes, and it's going to make a great, great atmosphere for the game.
Phil, and as the game of college baseball has grown in popularity, I feel that there's also more of a working relationship, if that's the right term to use, between the college game and Major League Baseball, and we're seeing it in ways now where, Wes Johnson, Arkansas pitching coach, goes straight to the major leagues and is now the pitching coach for the Minnesota Twins. There were some other pitching coaches that were hired in the high minors or as coordinators in minor league systems. You see more college players drafted now than ever before. Major League Baseball is staging a game at TD Ameritrade before the College World Series. So I feel these two organizations are now much closer together than they've ever been. Do you think there's ever a possibility that the Major League Baseball draft could move to Omaha or move in a way where you're not getting kids that are playing in super regionals who are drafted while they are on the field?
I think that could happen. And there, I think, have been discussions. I don't know how far they've gotten, but there had been some talk of potentially doing the draft maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday prior to the start of the World Series, and to have it there in Omaha. And I think right now Major League Baseball doesn't want to wait that late because they've got their short season teams that are getting ready to start there. Now, and I don't know that they want to shift those schedules too much either, because if you would push the short seasons back a week, it may be it'd be early September before they would finish up. And a lot of times if you have, at the major league level, they want to look at their September call-ups on September 1st. If a AAA team is in the playoffs, they may have to pull up some guys from AA, and you may have that trickle-down effect. So I think there would still need to be some work on the scheduling, but there are definitely discussions. And I would think, too, when you look at what a big event the NFL draft has turned into, I think there's that potential for the baseball draft, at least for the first couple rounds, to become that big an event. And Omaha would be the ideal place, thinking that, how knowledgeable those fans are for college baseball. They're going to know who those college kids are that are getting picked.
I want to round out the conversation with something that's off the basketball court, and we got about a minute left here, but I'd seen that in a previous life or previous part of your career, Phil, you were the SID at the University of Richmond, where you must have worked hand-in-hand with John Beilein, who is now moving on to the Cleveland Cavaliers as an NBA coach. Does this jibe for you? Did you ever see something like this happening?
Well, I know he had talked with the Pistons a few years ago, and I was very, very surprised. I had not heard any rumblings over the weekend. Actually, I had my brother text me this morning because he had heard about it. I am really surprised with John being 65. I just have always had him pegged as a college guy, but I know the drive that he has, and a lot of coaches want to be able to coach at the very highest level, and to be able to coach the best athletes in that sport. And so I think with, him having the opportunity now, I think each step that he has made, he feels like he has gotten that program about as far as it can go. Because he got, I know he got Richmond to a second round. He got West Virginia to a regional final. I don't think he had gotten them to Final Four, but I know he's gotten Michigan to Final Four a couple times. And I think now, this will be, my guess would be this will be his last job. He's, I think he's just looking for another challenge. Not that he got bored at Michigan, but I think he felt like he probably got them as far as he could get them. So I think now he's looking at this challenge, and then seeing the success that Brad Stevens has had with the Celtics. There have been so many other coaches. You think of John Calipari and Rick Pitino, the guys that had spent some time in the NBA but not had the success. Now he's going to have that opportunity to see how he does. So I'm excited to see especially how his offense, will translate, because he's been able to transition that from going from Richmond to West Virginia. He's had a higher caliber of player, and I think from West Virginia to Michigan, he's had a higher caliber of player. So now that he's going to be able to work with professional basketball players, I think it will be, really interesting to see how they adapt to his offense.
Appreciate your time, Phil. Definitely we'll look forward to doing this again.
All right, sounds great. Thanks, guys.
You got it. Phil Stanton from College Baseball Insider. We'll wrap up halftime with a cherry next on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
When in doubt, expense it. You're listening to Halftime.
Slide girl, by my side, girl, yeah, we can.
Every day, vegetables are ripped from the earth, sliced, diced, even something called julienne. But for just $5 a day, you can help. Get 2 Hardee's Original Roast Beef Sandwiches for just $5. Slow-cooked beef, hand-dipped in rich au jus, each prepared without harming a single vegetable. So come to Hardee's, get 2 Original Roast Beef Sandwiches, and save the veggies. Hardee's, because it tastes better. Available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating restaurants. Tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
Have you been looking for your next place to call home and just haven't found the right one? Then it's time to check out the properties at Trinity Multifamily. With a variety of apartments, duplexes, townhomes, and houses, there is surely one to fit your needs. Whether it's in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, or Central Arkansas that you are looking at, they have you covered. Give them a call today. Trinity Multifamily, 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
Auto Park in Fort Smith combines over 90 years of family-owned experience with the best sales and service teams around. And at Orr Auto Park, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime engine warranty, free maintenance for 2 years, and free car washes for the life of the vehicle. The largest selection, the biggest discounts, and the best buying experience around. These are some of the reasons why you always score more with Orr Auto Park in Fort Smith. Stop in today, or they are always open online 24/7 at OrAutoPark.com.
Spring is in the air, and spring fishing season is here. And Jelco Outdoors has the fishing gear you need to hook the big wall hanger this spring. Rods, reels, baits, tackle, fishing clothing, and rain suits, plus fishing kayaks. Jelco has it all for you. The best quality name brands at fair prices. Jelco Outdoors, your spring fishing headquarters in the River Valley. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
What do you get when you pull into Tony's Tire Service? You get the best selection of tires for any car, truck, or commercial vehicle. Tony's Tire Service has Cooper tires and is ready to serve you to get you back on the road safely. They'll also get your vehicle fixed with brake replacements plus an alignment with the best repair guy in the area. Tony's Tire Service has been serving the River Valley for over 34 years. Come let our guys replace your tires with Cooper tires and our service department to make sure the vehicle has the best brakes and alignments. Tony's Tire Service, 7200 South 28th Street in Fort Smith. Service you can depend on.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half price. And all beers on tap are half price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741. 741.
All right, that's going to do it for halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Get ready for the Great American Shootout. The 86th Annual Old Fort Days Rodeo returns Memorial Day through June 1st. Presented by Cherokee Casino. Come, experience the tradition of Arkansas's oldest rodeo. The return of freestyle bullfighting. Plus all the bull snorting PRCA rodeo action. Tickets are on sale now at oldfortdaysrodeo.com. The 86th Annual Old Fort Days Rodeo. The Great American Shootout.
What would an extra $250 a month mean to you? For some, it's a little financial breathing room. For others, it's a car payment, a home repair, or help with college tuition. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans, and I've got some great news if you're looking to save money on your mortgage. All it takes is a simple phone call to Quicken Loans at 800-QUICKEN to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program.